coming up, I was easily influenced.
Mm-hmm,
You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean? And that's why I say when I met Lala, you. Well, let me take you up into that point.
Yep. Take
You
your
know,
time.
in my youth coming up when I was a juvenile, getting in trouble doing things, going in and out of different juvenile facilities, which was Cedar Knoll in Washington or Oak Hill is one of the two places that they send juveniles to. So I was in and out of all these places, even Waxters and Boys Village in Maryland, locked up in Virginia, the whole DMV. You know what I mean? So
Right.
um, I was a young guy, just wanted to be accepted. I was a follower. I was easily influenced. I was just, wanted to be one of the guys. I
Mm-hmm.
had no, you know, a purpose in life. You know what I mean? At that time, just to be with everybody, be accepted. I was real impulsive. You know what I mean? Would almost do anything at any time. And so obviously that's not going to turn out good for you when you, especially surrounding yourself with older guys, that's really going to take advantage of that type of energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? As opposed to trying to school me and do the right things, what I try to do now with the youth that I meet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
School them and let them know, you know what I mean? It's a different and better way. You know what I mean? It's don't go out your way to be accepted or do too much from anybody. Appreciate your own self-worth.
Exactly. That's what we need. More people like you that's trying to reach them. We got it. We can't stop trying. You know.
No, we can't. I don't. I'm out now and stuff. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But so when I was coming through juveniles and all that, I was just, it was even when they locked me up, that didn't do no good. You just really sent me somewhere that they wouldn't try to help us or educate us or rehabilitate us, even in juveniles. You know what I mean? So I just met more people from different neighborhoods that was on some, the same things that I was on. Which was anything at any time, as long as it was about money, girls, whatever, clothes. That's what it was all about coming up. It wasn't too much, you know what I mean, that I was really focused on and trying to really do other than just wake up every day and do whatever. You know what I mean? But, money and girls and that was the motivating factor for a lot of things. So I was in and out. Then I got locked up for a few murders that I had got charged with. And that's when I went to Lawton. And that's when I met Lala and certain other dudes, and we built a bond from the early '90s all the way to today. You know what I mean? And it was just based on real friendship, and that was new to me. Even though I was with guys and hanging out with them, I never really felt. When somebody really got your best interest at heart, and a lot of times dudes know that. Even today, dudes be around dudes that they know don't really have their best interest at heart. And they do it for a lot of different reasons. They might tell themselves it's for self-preservation, protection, or just be involved with something because there was no father in the household. Most of us come from single mothers. So you just want to be down on a part of something. So that's, so when I meet guys in Lawton, some of the greatest guys I ever met in the world, you know what I mean? And they really care. We tried to care about each other and love each other and tell each other no. And that's hard to do. That was always hard for me coming up to utter the word no. I could never do it. You know what I mean? And Lala and a whole bunch of other great guys. You know what I mean? It was in there, and we would be real with each other. We had real friendships, real relationships that we had built and formed with guys we had just met there. And we could talk and tell each other when each of us was wrong. You know what I mean? Or we could say no and feel comfortable with that and don't feel like, I'm less than or I'm not up to this level because I don't want to do this or that or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's when my life became to start to be real and I was growing up and maturing, which, you know what I mean? And then I started getting involved in other positive things in the job.
Like what kind of things did you get involved in?
Well, at first, people believe sometimes, you know what I mean, because you charged with a crime and you go to jail, victimizing behavior stops. Selfish behavior stops. No, it don't. I got locked up and just took it to a whole another level. You know what I mean? But, as time went on, and I started realizing that I was being counterproductive to the things that I really wanted to do in life. And see, I was raised in the church. See, I'm not as cold-hearted as sometimes I try to get people to believe. People that really know me know I was raised in the church. I was just young guy. You know what I mean? So, when I got to that point where I was tired of that victimizing behavior, you know what I mean? Just, because that's how we was. We was all young. You know what I mean? And I used to just take dudes' shoes, not because I wanted them. I just wanted to fight. You know what I mean? I throw you some decks and tell you, man, put them on and give me them. You know what I mean? And we'll fight. I'll fight the dude or whatever. And some dudes will take the shoes off. But the dudes I used to fight, we formed good relationships, from that, because man, you all right. You know what I mean? So that's my mindset at that time. It was about the weak, or you ain't got nothing coming. The strong survive the weak. We gonna walk over you, and we gonna keep. You know what I mean? That's what we do, and that's how it was. You know what I mean? So as I matured and realized that at some point I want to go home, because I was in jail and I was sentenced for 3 murders to pretty much life. My parole date was 21/99.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? Yes. So you ain't gonna make it that far. I don't give a damn how you exercise or good living or what you died or eat, you hit. You know what I mean? So, but I never wanted to believe that it was over for me. That was it. I never did. You know what I mean? So, and it started becoming obvious to me at some point that if I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna have to do positive things in the joint, like education. I got my GED in jail. You know what I mean? I kept going to school. I took every class that I can. You know what I mean? And I was no less than I was before. You know what I mean? I just had to give my life meaning and purpose. You know what I mean? That's what's important, to give your life, you know what I mean, meaning and purpose. So I started focusing on things that I knew that would better me. I wanted to educate myself. I started to read, and the more I read, the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. I became thirsty for knowledge. You know what I mean? And it was a beautiful thing. It was opening my eyes up to so much. You know what I mean? And that I just kept going and never stopped programming. You know what I mean? And just always being involved and trying to be around like-minded people as much as you can be. You know what I mean? Because I was still the same guy. At first, even when I'm doing all this, I'm still back and forth. You know what I mean? Because it's you in the joint.
But that's a positive step, though. Being around like-minded people, that is definitely a plus.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And because I believe most people, we do what we did coming up in the streets and in Lawton a lot of times because self-preservation, and we was just, trying to let it be known. This, reputation and things like that was important. And to a certain extent, it still is. But I realized that you can be a 100% man, you know what I mean, and still be a positive person, and still want best for yourself and everybody else, and still be man. You know what I mean? I didn't understand that at first. You know what I mean? And it's just the way I've been. So when I get around a lot of other guys, we was doing what we thought you were supposed to do in the joint as young dudes, and we all coming in young, so it was older guys there that, you know what I mean, that we looked up to and we respected, you know what I mean, as real men and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So when we get to Lawton, we just gonna do whatever, you know what I mean? I was gonna do whatever I thought, you know what I mean, that was gonna let it be known that, man, I ain't going for nothing. Exactly. You know what I mean? And stuff like that, because in my mind at that time, that's what defined a man. And it was, I don't want to walk away too much from that, right? Because it made me who I am today, everything I went through. And I'm proud of that person that I am today.
And how long were you in Lawton?
Well, I stayed in Lawton from, I think, 93. I was there before that, but I went home. You know what I mean? But on this last bit, which was 30 years for me, because I was in on 30 years, and I just got out November the 17th of 2023.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. You know what I mean? And
that's a blessing.
And even when I talk about all the programming I've done and everything like that, and my lawyers was good, and the judge was willing to give me a second chance at redemption. It wasn't me, the judge, or the lawyer. It was God. You know what I mean? And I think that's what pretty much guides me now in my life. You know what I mean? My love for Christ, and I've just always been a Christian, even in the joint when most of everybody was Muslims. I was a Christian then, and I'm a Christian now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I understand. My mom's a Christian. Yeah, we
Right.
My mom has a doctorate in theology. So
awesome.
I know the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't go, but I know the Bible.
That's good enough. You know what I mean? That you know that there's a higher power, whether you're Muslim, Christian, or whatever you may be. It's a higher power.
That's
you know what I mean? Yeah. This just didn't happen here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So at that point, when I'm trying to, you know what I mean, make a transition, it's difficult because you just don't change like that. Mm-hmm. You back and forth. You know what I mean? Because even when you in the joint and you still can be somewhat influenced to a certain way because of your respect and love and friendship for other guys. So you know what I mean? Even if when I'm trying to change, somebody says, "Man, come on, Slim, we family. Let's do X, Y, Z, this, that, and that." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Sometimes I say, "Man, no, I ain't doing it." Sometimes I say, "Well, damn it, come on, fuck it, let's do it." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And stuff like that. So you're on the fence. You're not,
because you're not perfect. You trying.
Right. And then it's the penitentiary. So I can say anything I want to say about all the positive, good things I'm trying to do. But at some time in the joint, things going to be what it is. And we from D.C., you know what I mean? So we the most hated guys in the joint, but we the men in the joint. And we well respected. You know what I mean? So every now and then somebody is going to test you, or play or whatever. Or it just might be a geographical or racial beef. So, and you can't say you ain't with that because I'm on positive something, and whatever, you're going to get yourself hurt. So, so even though you in the joint, and you want to do right, and you should want to do that and live positive and be comfortable, you know what I mean? Living your life as that way. However, you still got to be ready to put work in at times because it's just the nature of the joint, period. You know what I mean? But most of the time, if you move with respect and things, you can avoid a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of things I got into wasn't about me or somebody disrespecting me or whatever. It was just me wanting to do that, just turning it up. You know what I mean? Just taking a little mole and making a mountain out of it. Right. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And you tell things, you tell your stuff like, it's just the principle. You know what I mean? Which is one of the craziest statements in the world. You know what I mean? But that's what I used to always, man, look, man, just that, man, ain't damn that. It's the principle.
And people still using that to this day.
And that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? That's unfortunate. But it was a transition to that point to where I'm at now. So even when people, guys or girls there now, I get it. You know what I mean? Because I was there. I get it. So I know how to talk to them in a way that they could see that, you know what I mean? Man, I walked in your shoes and lived your life. I get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why you might do some of the things you do, but it's a different way. It's a better way. And most people I wanted it. Like, again, I came from the church. I was raised in the church. You know what I mean? I wasn't this, bad love story. I had a single mother, but we wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It went like, we had holes in our shoes and nothing like that. We was pretty comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my brother never been locked up. You know what I mean? So I can't say it's the household, you know what I mean, or it's the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It was to a certain extent because I don't want to give the government a free pass and not having the resources available that they should have had and that they still need to do to the day and take it serious because I think it's so much that can be accomplished and so many youth that want to do right is put in the right situation, in the right environment. That really, really want to do right. But when those opportunities are not there, even though the money is there, but people is misappropriating the money, you know what I mean, and not making it available and putting it in the places that it can have the most bang for the buck.
Right.
You know what I mean? they just worried about hustling. You know what I mean, and pocketing and leaving the youth behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unfortunate. You know what I mean. But like I said, my brother, he was never locked up. I was just going to be this way. It was just in me to do the things I was doing. I didn't want. I was young. I was impressionable. When I went to see Karate, a movie when I was young, when we came out the theater, we was going to do karate. You know what I mean? So when Scarface came out, okay, damn it, it's time to get guns. You know what I mean? Women and drugs and let's have fun. You know what I mean? And you know, you know, so my life was based off of movies for real. You know what I mean? I was, you know, I was living that type of life. You know what I mean? It didn't, you know, I was here one day, there the next. And I was just a young, impressionable guy, very impulsive. So I was all over. And
let me, you know what I want to say, not to interrupt you. That is a great point that you say when you said impulsive and impressionable, because there are a lot of people, and I'm not just want to say boys, I want to say young people that come from great upbringings, and as soon as they get in trouble, the first thing, you know, people want to holler, it's the household, it's the parent. But that what you pointed out, being impressionable, you know, wanting to impress your friends, that peer pressure, wanting to fit in, you know, you don't want to look at as the goofy guy in the neighborhood. You know, why do you think that is? You think that's just a man thing, or, you know, a youth thing?
Well, for me, a lot of times it was that I didn't go to school a lot, not because I couldn't do the work.
Right.
It's because I just didn't want to go to school. And the times that I went to school, it was only because I was so bored not being in school, and everybody else was in school. So I said, well, let me just go to school and disrupt their day.
Mm-hmm.
And since they faking up in school and not hanging out with me playing hooky, then let me go. And then you behind in class.
Right.
So when you behind, you know you behind, you act out for that reason because you behind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing all of them type of things. And just, you know, coming up, I always tell my mother, because I understand when your child gets locked up, when your child gets in trouble, murdered, or anything that your child may do, it's a certain level of parental guilt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That parents go through, and they question themselves and look at well, what did I do wrong? And I just always tell my mother, you did absolutely nothing wrong. You was the greatest mother anybody in the world could ever ask for. You know what I mean?
So
I was just on some wild shit. I was just going to be that way, period. You know what I mean? And I always point out the fact of my brother. We was night and day. You know what I mean? So if he was able to do it, then I could have done it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to do it. So it was only me. I always made excuses. Single parent, the neighborhood, or whatever. That's just making excuses. You got to take responsibility for your actions.
Absolutely.
Period. Bottom line. You know what I mean? And until you get to that point that you willing and ready to take responsibility, then you still a lost soul.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You're a lost soul.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you have to get to that point where you have to say enough is enough. Man, I was wrong. I thought I was right at that time. I know better now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do better. You know what I mean? At the time, a lot of youth out here don't know better now, or didn't know better in my youth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you learn better, and you know, and then when you learn better, you got to do better.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Okay, we're not going to fault you too much because it's your youth. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's what the IRA law now in D.C. is based on.